Zalapski was playing the most inspired defense I ever saw. I mean, he's got the Tyler Myers 1,000 games shirt, so we've got the Garden of Earthly Delights.
Everybody's favorite Whalers goaltender, Peter Sidorkiewicz. Well, there's a lot to digest. That is the face of a man that chows down on pierogies. Okay.
What is going on, everybody?
Welcome back to the Arkhipov
Pierogie
Chow podcast. We planned that.
The podcast about beauties like that.
That's signed too.
Signed.
That's signed.
Autographed by Dennis himself.
The man.
As you can see. We're gonna jump right into it today.
How's your week going so far?
It's going, well, the Canucks are crapping the bed a little bit.
That was a tough game.
They still have a very good points percentage. So.
They do. And as you know, NHL points percentage is the metric that we all know and love.
No need to hit the panic button
No.
yet.
You know, this week, I think I finally, for the first time ever, I'm accepting that I am a Canucks fan, which has taken a very long time. It's funny because growing up an Oilers fan, my favorite Oilers periods were in the decade of darkness. And it was so fun to watch these electric guys, and I wasn't much of a Canucks fan around then, minus the 2011 Cup run. And I think it's just been difficult for me to accept that my favorite franchise history, the Oilers.
Okay.
My favorite team right now, it's probably the Vancouver Canucks.
I mean, he's got the Tyler Myers 1,000 games shirt, so if that isn't a point to his dedication, I think that's a good way to introduce yourself. We've got some different decor today, as you can see.
Only true Canucks.
We've got the Garden of Earthly Delights in the middle. Just thought that was a funny little thing. It could be interpreted as a hockey-related piece of art, I'm sure.
Yeah. Sure. No comment. That's an electric piece of art right there.
This is one of my favorite paintings. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about guys like Louis Eriksson.
This has to be a Canucks bias place, or you would not have a piece of Louis Eriksson and Tyler Myers history.
And then we've got the Heat team photo over here, inaugural season. Leyland Irving and who's the other goalie? David Shantz, yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
For some reason, Keatley is not in that photo. But
I will say, and if I can find him here, I think I will. Is that Jared Bednar?
Oh, yeah.
Is an assistant coach. So
there you go.
Don't anybody ever let you say that the Abbotsford Heat did not have incredible coaching. Jim Playfair and
Jared Bednar.
Should watch that clip.
It is a good clip.
Crazy. Throwing the friggin' sticks on the ice. And
yeah.
Shall we get into the doku?
Let's get into it, baby. The camera's still rolling.
We had a slight issue with the camera storage, but okay. So I will hand that to you. Our categories for the doku today, as you all know, as you know, crazy fanatic watchers of this particular, or listeners, if you just listen for whatever reason, of this podcast, you will know that the doku is finding 4 categories, much like puck doku or the word one that New York Times does that I can't think of the name of right now. You find your 2 categories up here, and you have 2 categories on the side, and you want to find a hockey card or a player that lines up with those categories. I've got my 4 on the side. Do you have your 4 ready to go?
I've got my 4. I think they're here. Yep. Yep.
Alrighty. So categories this week, we have teams on the top. We have the Dallas Stars, the New Jersey Devils running down, and we have on the other side Carolina Hurricanes on the bottom and Bad Condish on the side. I had interpreted Bad Condish as a player with horrible conditioning.
So you're obviously actually more of a hockey player than I am. I was just thinking about condition for the card.
The first thing I thought is just like the players with the worst leg speed of all time. Like Jason Allison-esque.
Yeah, I don't know how you could see.
People that have been run out of the league for their lack of cardio. But
there is a not that Phil Kessel had bad cardio, but there is a card of him eating a hot dog.
There is, yeah. Fair enough.
His day with the cup card. Not that he had bad conditioning. This last training camp, maybe. But.
We did clear this up. I found bad condition cards to fill the gap. Well, yeah, I would say you just go ahead. If you got your 4 ready, start laying them out.
They're ready. Okay. So we are going to go with, to start, before I get into all the words, the one that I did the least amount of research on. This is a 1995 playoff hockey one-on-one challenge collectible card game. Martin Brodeur. As you can see, there's a pretty good crease. I don't know if it's kind of hard to tell, but you can see that crease.
It's like it was used in a card game for years.
It was used in a card game for years. I do not have any other cards from this card game. I don't know what any of the rules mean. I looked up like a let's play of this game, and the only one I could find were like 2 Southern guys.
What?
And the weirdest thing is that there's dice involved in this game, but instead of having numbers, they just have pucks and team logos, but they still equate to numbers, as far as I can tell. So you have to like, memorize what number a puck represents, or something like that. It looked like a confusing game that I didn't want to understand. I don't have any other cards from that game. I don't know how I ended up with this.
I appreciate all the people in the 90s and early 2000s that just decided we can make a board game out of that.
Yeah.
And they, some of them turned out great. Others, you end up with one random card.
Yep. So anyway, that's that. Not much to say there. Yeah, conditions bad, obviously, because it was probably played in a board game.
Lovely. Good find.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see here. Let us see here. I guess I should get my notepad.
He's got notes.
I've got notes for this one today.
Don't let anybody tell you that Micah doesn't check the game notes. He's all ready for this.
I actually had time to do some research last night, so I did that. We're gonna start with. Okay,
my goodness.
We'll start with.
He's got paragraphs.
We'll start with the Stars bad conditioning. We got a Todd Harvey here. This is 97-98 Upper Deck. Todd
Excellent
Harvey.
jerseys.
Yeah, nice jerseys. This was early in the Stars being in Dallas.
Yep.
Franchise.
Stayed on the shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this is a pretty decent set, I think, the 97-98 Upper Deck. But I was mostly interested, because I'm a freak, in the goalie in the background, because I didn't recognize that mask. I did a little digging, and you'd think maybe at first John Casey, maybe you'd think that, but he had long gone.
Can you even? Yeah, there you go. You can see the green.
Yeah, you can see the green stars, and that's very similar to what John Casey's mask was. And I actually realized this is Roman Turek in the background.
Really?
That was his mask, and that the 96-97 season was his rookie year. So this photo was taken during one of Turek's one of his 6 games. That season. So that's kind of neat, because after that mask, he never had a similar mask to that again. He would always go with the Iron Maiden mask.
I have a Roman Turek on the Dallas Stars, but it is not even close to the green and gold. That's nuts. That's cool.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting, because I like Roman Turek. He's kind of one of those guys that you just name if you're talking about random players.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he would never have a mask like that again, because he was known a little bit for his mask that had the Iron Maiden mascot on it.
Guys naming dudes. Can't get much better than that.
Roman Turek is a great pull for sure.
Sweet.
Next, we are gonna go with. Okay, we'll go with this Canes Stars. So Irbe played 1 year with the Stars. He was actually drafted by the North Stars. Didn't play for the franchise until much later.
I had an Irbe queued up. I knew you were going to go Irbe, so I did not take him. I went a different route, but I knew that was going to be the answer for you.
Yeah, so this is a nice. I like this series of victory. It is, I believe, 2002-03. On the back, it talks about the playoffs of that year. Obviously, the Canes went all the way to the finals. A little bit of an unorthodox way to get there, I will say. Because as you can see, the description says, As Carolina faced off against New Jersey, Irbe registered 64 saves and allowed only 3 goals in the opening 2 games of the series, as the Hurricanes took a commanding 2-0 lead.
Okay.
Interestingly, doesn't mention anything else about Irbe's playoff run, even though he was the Canes starter. But during that first round series, Irbe gets yanked after, let me just go to my notes here.
Check the game notes.
So he gets yanked round 1 after he gives up 3 goals on 12 shots in game 3 and 2 goals on 8 shots in game 4.
That's tough.
Which is like bad, but it's not
awful.
that bad. You know what I mean?
2 goals and 12 shots is like they must have been squeakers.
Well, and you have to think about the era that this was too. This is height of the dead puck era. Paul Maurice is the coach of the Canes at the time.
He does some, yeah.
Irbe plays 20 minutes in game 4. First period, 2 goals on 8 shots, you're done. And I don't think that would happen in today's game.
No.
Because he lets him play out the period. He's got exactly 20 minutes
That's
on
a combination of so many things. It's the era.
Yeah.
It's the coach.
Yeah.
Like Paul Maurice has been playing 3 forwards in overtime for all 3 skaters. He does some wild stuff.
He's very good at adapting, I guess, to the different eras because he just wasn't satisfied with 2 goals on 8. Because how many times, has Stuart Skinner given up
we don't talk
2 goals on
Stuart
10
Skinner.
shots in the first period, and he plays the rest of the game. It's not a big deal. But anyway, that wasn't good enough for Paul Maurice, so he's gone after the first period. Second round, Kevin Weekes is in that at this point. Paul Maurice has gone with Kevin Weekes as the starter. Kevin Weekes gets yanked after 2-on-9 again after the first period. He posts back-to-back shutouts, first of all, earlier. He gets a shutout to win the series against New Jersey. He gets a shutout in the first game against Montreal, but then in game 3, I think, he gets yanked after 2 goals on 9 shots after the back-to-back shutouts. Irbe plays the rest of the playoffs. They make it to the finals. And so, as a result, they end up with Weekes played 8 games. He ends with 2 shutouts, a .939 save percentage, and a 1.6 GAA. Irbe plays 18 games. He has 1 shutout, .938, and 167.
That is the ridiculous.
Which are bonkers numbers for both of your goalies to have through the playoffs, and as if they ever played unsatisfactorily.
Getting yanked back and forth too is nuts.
I just thought that was hilarious that it was only 2 goals that resulted in them getting yanked after 1 period.
That's tough for
It's just
both of them.
Speaks to the era that it was.
Short fuse on Paul Maurice. 2 goals. That's done. We only accept 1. That's your.
And it is 2 goals on
him.
a minimum amount of shots, but that would not happen. I don't think anymore.
Not at all. I'm glad you got Irbe though. That's the original Latvian legend.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. The inspiration for young Artur Shilovs.
Yeah, exactly.
This is probably before. How old is Shilovs?
Yeah,
he would have been 2 years old.
Yeah, true. Anyway, so that was my Canes stars pick because I just thought I would go in depth on the goaltending.
Lovely, nice card as well, nice and plain. I like it.
For Devils Canes, we have a classic 91-92 Pierogie Sean Burke.
Nice.
Of course, Sean Burke, Whalers legend. Canes, he played a little bit in Carolina when they moved, but I would say he's mostly known for Devils and Hurricanes, maybe, I guess.
I had no idea
Devils and
why.
Whalers,
I
maybe?
instantly think Phoenix with Sean Burke. I don't know why. He was the goaltending coach for a long time, or maybe not a long time, but I feel like he was the goaltending coach. Maybe it was in Phoenix, and that's just a sign of the time. But Sean Burke, another fairly well-known name.
Yeah, anyway, good card. 91-92 Pro Set is nothing to write home about, but I've got a soft spot for it. Anyway, on the back, I was reading the back, I was thinking of which Sean Burke card to pick, and it says Burke led Canada to an upset gold medal victory in the 1987 Izvestia tournament in the Soviet Union.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring. So I looked up Izvestia tournament because I too had never heard of that tournament. And apparently it was a state-sponsored international round-robin hockey tournament put on by the Soviet Union as just sort of a warm-up for their dominant Olympic team, basically. That's what it was. Because they had, obviously, the best international team during the 80s, pretty much. They had gone toe-to-toe with Gretzky and Lemieux at the Canada Cup and all that. Anyway, let me break out the notes again.
Oh, here it comes.
So I was curious. So the Izvestia Cup, state-sponsored round-robin tournament. In 1987, Canada had not won in Russia since the 72 Summit Series. Okay? There's no video of the tournament because, again, it's like the Iron Curtain is up at this point. There's no
the Soviets said no, not gonna happen.
There's no video. Like, it's all... I'm sure there are lots of stories that you've heard all about, playing international hockey during the communist Russia era.
Yeah, for the Soviets and Czechoslovakia, it's just...
exactly. There are a lot of crazy stories coming out of that.
Iron Curtain is a perfect word for it. It's,
But let me give you some of the names that were on this 1987 Izvestia Cup tournament for Canada.
Okay, Canadian players.
Canadian players.
Okay, I'm ready.
The three big names, aside from Sean Burke.
The biggest name.
Cliff Ronning.
Okay. Noted Canuck.
Claude Vilgrain, also a Devils player.
Yes.
And Zarley Zalapski was their basically number 1D.
So these are the people. These are the people that Team Canada internationally is like. We can afford to send these people into the Soviet Union.
Pretty much.
We cannot afford Mario to go.
This was in December, so NHL season is going on.
Oh, weird.
So no NHL players at this tournament. Obviously, the Russians obviously have an upper hand there because
wild.
All of their Olympic team is like the best of the best. Anyway, Zarley Zalapski, number 1 defenseman. I thought that was great.
That's funny.
So Burke wins against Sweden because Sweden is also participating. Canada's getting dominated. At one point, they were getting outshot like 40-14. Burke wins it for them halfway through the game because they were playing in an Olympic stadium, which had like other things going on at the same time.
Okay.
Heavy metal starts playing during the game because there's a heavy metal concert going in on another part of the arena. They beat Sweden. It's great. Then they play Russia. They beat Russia, shockingly. And it was so shocking that Russia did not have the Canadian national anthem queued up to play at the end of the game.
They just weren't even considering.
So they played the Russian national anthem again. Even though Canada had won the game, they played the Russian anthem again because they just didn't have a recording of the Canadian one. And were not prepared to play it because this team was such an underdog because Zarley Zalapski was the number 1 defenseman. Here are some quotes about it. So, Burke was described as Canada's answer to 72 Tretiak, which is awesome. Zalapski was playing the most inspired defense I ever saw.
What? This is... Okay, just keep going, no comment.
And Burke ends up winning the tournament MVP. The trophy is a porcelain snowman that he buckled in on the flight next to him because it was so delicate that he couldn't fit it in a carry-on.
I hope he still has that. I hope that's just sitting on his mantle to this day.
A guy named Ken Barry scored twice versus Russia. He played 55 games in the league between the Oilers and the Canucks. And he scores twice against Russia. Now he's a mayor of Lions Bay in Vancouver. And that is
wild.
I looked it up. There's some controversy down there. A lot of people are mad at him for being like a bad mayor or something. I didn't want to go into politics, but when I looked up Ken Barry, the first thing that pops up was like controversy in Lions Bay.
What the heck?
Apparently a lot of like councillors resigned when he was elected. I don't know. All I know is the Izvestia tournament with Sean Burke, Zarley Zalapski, and Ken Barry was a time and a half. And I thought that was great.
Thank you for the history
so
lesson.
There you go. I thought that
Bringing
was
out
funny.
the Man United notebook to just school us all. And
I just thought that was fascinating because there were so many little weird
crazy.
Nuances there. Anyway, those are my Puckdoku picks.
There was so much of that just caught me off guard.
Yeah, seriously. I kept reading it. I was like, what? Zarley Zalapski was the best defenseman you've ever seen? Like, I don't understand.
Never in my life did I think that Sean Burke would be the answer to 72 Tretiak.
Yeah, seriously, because Tretiak is like in the Hall of Fame.
Whose quote is that? Where did that come from?
That was like some journalist. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I saw a thing where it was like probably less than 1,000 people know actually what happened in '87 in Russia.
Well, there you go.
So there you go.
Excellent,
now you know.
Excellent picks for today.
Now a few more people know.
Beautiful. Okay, let me grab mine. So I tried to put together a theme of rookies.
Okay.
because the first two I found were rookies. Okay. I could not, in fact, complete this challenge. As simple as it is, I had no answer for Hurricanes and probably Devils as.
Oh no, the set deck is going apart.
Not the amateur game?
No.
It's okay, it's fine. We'll just cut that out.
Yeah.
So I tried to do a rookie theme. It did not completely work. I was missing one category of the card, so I have one sophomore. It's okay. It just so happened that the first two I found were rookies. I tried to make it work. I will begin. Where do you want me to begin? You throw one out.
Devils, Canes.
Okay, Devils, Canes. Let's see here. You know, I should have double checked and made sure that he fit into the category because I'm doubting it now. Devils, Canes. It has to be this one. Yeah, I'm out of the loop here, guys.
That's okay.
Here we go.
I went a little overkill on the Doku, so.
No. Everybody's favorite Whalers goaltender.
Legend.
Peter Sidorkiewicz.
There you go. That's great. That's
he's one of the only goaltenders from the 80s that I just instantly had memorized as a kid. Mm-hmm. It is the name. Sidorkiewicz is wild.
Yeah.
But I didn't have, I probably had 10 to 15 Peter Sidorkiewicz cards and like nothing else for the Whalers. Like maybe a John Garrett mixed in.
Right.
And he was
he was a dependable starter.
He was a dependable starter. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
I don't think he was necessarily like a super all-star per se.
No,
but
reliable guy.
He ran a good ship.
4 shutouts in 44 games in 89
the 80s
is not that bad.
No, and led all NHL rookies.
Oh,
so
there you
all
go.
NHL rookie goaltenders.
Yeah.
And he did play 2 games in the playoffs. He did allow 8 goals.
That's not bad in the 80s, though. Again, like
not too bad.
They probably played like the Bruins or something in the first round.
In 44 games, he faced 1,207 shots.
Not too shabby, to be honest.
Peter Sidorkiewicz. That is my first.
Senators legend as well.
Yeah, exactly. The man cannot miss.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, that's a good
So
pull.
technically, that was it's a rookie, it's a sophomore. It's somewhere in between. Stars and Hurricanes. I thought of this player before I thought of Artur Irbe. Found out Irbe was available. Knew that you were going to pick him. Went back to this guy.
Good call.
The shootout legend himself.
Of course.
Jussi Jokinen.
This guy, that's a great jersey.
That is my favorite Stars jersey.
Yeah.
If you watch this guy's sizzle tape from like 2005 or whenever he got the 7 for 7 in the first year of shootouts, he did the same 2 moves. He either did the little Forsberg drag or just the pop step between the glove and the pad. He just
untouchable in the shootout.
The shootout just mastered. And it wasn't even like crazy fancy move. Oh, the Forsberg, pretty silky for the time.
Yeah.
But Jussi Jokinen, another of my favorite players as a kid. And this particular series of Upper Deck, also,
nice.
I think I used it a couple weeks ago for my favorite Upper Deck series as well.
Very clean.
1 season with the Stars. Got into 81 games, which is fairly impressive as a rookie. He was going 7 for 7 in the shootouts, and he had 55 points.
So you got to keep him up there.
You got to keep him up.
He's a absolute ace in the hole. If it gets to a shootout, like you're winning.
Jussi Jokinen is winning.
Yeah.
He's going to do the TJ Oshie. We'll just keep sending him out there after. Okay, so I've got 2 cards left. I will start with the bad condition Devils. Okay. No, it is not a Devils player out of shape. But it could have been. I just didn't go that way. This was my first ever hockey card.
Really?
So it's toast. This is from years ago. I'd like to big up my main man Andrew for gifting this to me as a small child.
Nice.
In the church back room, where the kids' room, super church, had the rolling TV stand and whatnot.
Hell yeah.
I just ended up with a Scott Niedermayer card at like the age of 4 or 5 or 6, somewhere in there.
Great.
Premier 92 O-Peachy. I love
good
this
tarps,
good, incredible uniforms. They need to bring back the green.
They do.
I like third jersey maybe, or just go back to the green. It's electric.
Black and red. It's been done.
Yeah, seriously, we don't want it. Green and red, elite. And this is a rookie card. His stats here are with Kamloops. 82 points in 57 games.
Beautiful.
Scott Niedermayer, we all know what he became. There is a link to my random card of the day with Scott Niedermayer. I'd like to throw that out there now.
All right.
I did do some research. I don't have a Man United notebook here to read all the stats off of. Scott Niedermayer, Hall of Fame defenseman. Not too much to say.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to make some space for this last one because it is gigantic.
Oh, baby!
And keeping with the rookie theme, Stars, bad condition. And this one, at the end of his career, I would argue also bad condition and bad conditioning. We have James the Real Deal Neal.
Oh my gosh.
In full size form, in all of his glory.
The jumbo young gun.
These cards, impossible to keep not damaged because they're huge. I didn't know where to put them as a kid. I think I just tossed them in one of the front folders of the binder. Young Guns as well. If this was a regular small Young Guns card, it would be pristine, as I keep all of my cards. Alas and sadly, it is not. James Neal, very well known for his start to the Edmonton Oilers season once he was traded there, where he had like 15 goals in the first 15 games and then proceeded not to score a single goal the rest of his time with Edmonton.
The reverse Connor Brown.
The reverse Connor Brown. It's very similar players. And as it is a Young Guns, you have his AHL totals on the back from his season with Iowa. It also talks about him helping the Plymouth Whalers win the OHL championship in 2007. Whalers, look at this.
Go. It's a good card. I like the jumbo Young Guns. I had a Patrick Stepan, I think, and they come in
also wild.
They come in their own like individual packages, right? I tried to keep it in the package, right, to keep it mint. I stepped on it. There's not a lot of a little plastic package can do when you step on a card because they're just so damn big.
Yeah, I have only two. I have a James Neal Young Guns, and then from the series the year before, I have a Peter Mueller with the Phoenix Coyotes.
That's pretty sweet.
Huge. Both of them absolutely trashed. And so bad condition, and Stars. These are my 4 picks for the day.
There you go. They're good, solid picks. Some solid names in here.
I did not have the stats from the Czech Republic, what the Soviet Union
that's okay.
Championship.
I went a little overboard, but that's fine. You didn't find a mayor of a community in Vancouver, so that's fine.
Lions Bay is a crazy community on its own. Not to go off tangent, but Lions Bay is the wildest place in probably the North Vancouver area. Yeah. It's on the Sea to Sky Highway. It's a mini uber rich community with all these like mansions just on the side of the ocean. It's like this probably 5 by 5 kilometer strip. I didn't even know there was a mayor. I had no idea.
It's a crazy government, I guess, and there's a lot of drama.
Yeah, apparently so. I didn't know. I've just been there to build some houses. I've never had.
Maybe it was Ken Berry's house. You never know.
It very well could have been. It was extremely extravagant. It is the only house I've ever worked in where there was a giant hole for a life-size tree to grow inside the house. I'm not just like a small hole for like a Christmas tree. I'm talking like a full fir, like 80-foot tall tree. There's just a hole in the middle of the house for this tree to grow.
That's amazing.
Lions Bay, guys.
Lions Bay. Didn't think we'd go there today, but
speaking of lions, but not speaking about lions at all, let's move on to the Tim Hortons. I was wondering
where you were going to go.
I had no transition there whatsoever. This is the 10th year for Tim Hortons hockey cards. It's the 10th anniversary of the original series. If we had thought about this more, maybe we would have brought some 10th or original Tim Hortons cards from 10 years ago. I don't think I have any. I have lots of McDonald's cards that you used to be able to get in the Happy Meals. I don't even know how many were in each pack back in the day with McDonald's. Probably just 3. But those have huge value to me as someone who loves the nostalgia of looking back. This year, as someone who works in the trades and goes to Tim Hortons every day to get coffee, I have made a slight error of buying 1 pack of hockey cards every day for the last month and a half with my coffee. And I think I have probably 200 hockey cards. It is. I've got just the 1 card alone that I will show you last pays value-wise for the entire rest of the cards I bought and more. So there are some hidden gems in between. I think for the ones that I have here, I was just going to go through the different series, show you what's available.
I'll jump in when
You'll jump in as well?
When I have the same.
Okay, sounds good. You've got some of your own on the side there?
A couple, yeah.
Okay. So, I don't know about you. I was just thinking of showing all the different categories. I've got 9 different options that you can get from this.
This is actually a plug.
Yeah, pretty much. Go to Tim Hortons. Buy a Grey Cup.
Ooh, there you go.
For the Grey Cup.
Tomorrow.
I didn't even know that. I have not been following the CFL.
Yeah.
If you're a CFL follower, drop a like below.
Drop a like.
Comment on your favorite CFL team.
My dad's going to the game tomorrow.
He's going to the game.
Yeah.
Who is in the finals? Is it the Blue Bombers?
Yeah,
of course.
Bombers and the Toronto Argonauts.
The only way I could think Gareth is going to the game, it's got to be a Blue Bombers.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, let's start this off. This year's base set card.
I
Just
can
checking
jump
to make
in with
sure
that.
it's still
You
still
got
rolling.
like 15 minutes.
Okay, we'll take an intermission after this.
Yeah.
Base set card this year, nice and simple. I guess I'll show it to the camera. Holographic as per the
It's a
usual.
beauty.
I chose a Quinton Byfield with the chrome dome helmet.
Say what you will about the shiny helmets, but they look damn good on a shiny hockey card.
They look incredible, and the white gloves are pretty.
Yeah.
That's-
it's clean. They got clean kits.
That's some beer league style right there. If
Yeah.
someone walks up with a silver helmet and white gloves,
You know they're a ringer.
yeah.
Might be Ken Berry, guys.
It might, you never know. But yeah, super simple, nothing too complicated. I believe they only have a couple seasons displayed on the back. Obviously, there's just not enough size for the rest. But yeah, nothing too complicated. Did you have anything to add to this series, or that's just the?
No. Nope.
Okay. So I will move into some of the more common inserts. So the way that these packs work, if you haven't got one, it would shock me if you hadn't, but why are you here? It comes with 2 base set cards, completely random, as well as 1 insert. In the insert, I have here 8 insert categories available that you could potentially have. Whew.
You could.
You could, and I'm not saying you do, but you could. The most common one that I have, I'd like to give a big shout out to the player on here, is the Frozen Hot Shots. And this year specifically, I'm choosing Kyle Connor of the Red Hot Winnipeg Jets. I think
He's hot.
he's hot. Is he challenging for most underrated player in the NHL right now?
I think he probably could be at this point because he plays in Winnipeg.
He plays in Winnipeg. Nobody watches. It's sad to say. I'm sorry.
Even the people in Winnipeg aren't watching.
I apologize to Gareth upstairs as he is a Winnipeg fan. But Kyle Connor, unreal start. Electric.
Yeah.
He's such a silky player.
He really is.
Yeah, but he doesn't get the media attention as he is. And
he's ginger.
ginger.
It's tough.
Yeah. Anything to add to those, or you're
No,
good
I'm
with-
still
okay.
good.
I'll move on to the next category. I've got a couple here. I will go with the True North.
Oh, beauty.
Connor Bedard and the True North. I think it's just highlighting Canadians. I think
That
that's
would be
all
my
it is.
guess, yeah.
I haven't really looked through to check and make sure that all of mine are Canadian, but I imagine
That
they
would
are.
be my guess.
I think I have a Brent Burns as well. I haven't had any Connor Bedard cards before this year. I think I have 3 different Connor Bedard versions from this. But yeah, it's just a classy Pride of Canada. I have like a Pride of
classic.
America Patrick Kane from a couple years ago. It's a weird one too, but not Timmy's either. This one on the back, Bedard showed his superstar potential with 4 points against the Lightning. He was also minus 46 last year. Tough go if you're counting plus minus in fantasy.
Just what happens when you play in Chicago.
Just what happens. I will go with next the Pure Gold
Okay,
series.
I can jump in with that.
Okay, do you want to start?
Okay.
Show us.
I
what
got
you got.
a nice Clayton Kelly here. Interestingly enough, even though this is the 2024-25 series, I noticed that all the Coyotes cards still say Coyotes, even though
Yeah,
when Tim's was putting these out, they would have known.
yeah. They would have had promo shots of a lot of the guys in their jerseys too. This one that I'm going to show as well is kind of funny because this is the only half a season you're ever going to get with this guy in this uniform.
Oh.
And he was clearly dealt afterwards, but it's Jake Gensel on the Carolina Hurricanes with the red helmet too on the white uniform, which I love.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, there's a couple of those. There's all of the Coyotes players or the Utah players are still Coyotes.
Yeah,
it labels Coyotes. It's
some
the uniform
series
is.
will like jump ahead of the game and it'll say like Utah down there, even though if they're in the wrong jersey. That's what they did for the Jets when they were back.
Or Gensel's clearly a member of the Tampa Bay over the summer.
Again, like I don't know why you wouldn't just.
They probably just had these ready to go years in advance, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's my other Pure Gold series.
No, that's good. I
have now the In Motion Phenoms, which I think this is probably my favorite set. I love the way this looks. It really reminds me kind of the Chris Colano set that we have. Just it's kind of the weird vertical stripes along the side. Logan Cooley, crazy. He's going off. I watched the craziest hockey game of the year the other night, where the Coyotes came back and won 4-1 against the Hurricanes.
The Utah?
Or Utah. Yeah, sorry, Utah. Utah came back. Carolina was just absolutely wiping the floor with them. They scored 4 unanswered goals in like 4 minutes. Lawson Crouse gets super, amped up and hyper, and someone touches him on the leg. He thinks he wants to fight. He pumps the crap out of this guy, Jack Drury. He gets 2 for instigating. He gets 5 for fighting. They take another penalty. They have 9 minutes of penalty kill to kill off, and it was such a crazy game. So Utah, highly recommend watching their games this year. It's either going to be a shootout, like an incredible 7,000 goals scored, or they will get pumped. But either way, it's really fun to watch.
There you go.
Logan Cooley. Okay. I now have an Above the Ice.
Very clean.
Yeah, very clean, very sparkly. Mike has got one too.
With the PD.
Oh! I didn't know there was a Pedersen available. Yeah, that's so nice.
PD. I like that one. I was happy to pull that.
That is crazy. Yeah. I love... there's the Canucks bias right there. I got way more excited for Pedersen than I did for Dubois.
It's hard to get excited for him sometimes.
Yeah, no, nothing too crazy. And then the last one from the... I've got 3 more, but the last one from the regular series I'll throw out is the Sidney Crosby retrospective.
Oh, that's so nice.
And all of these, I'll see if I can get it on camera. It's hard to see. Yeah, it's kind of moving a little bit. It's like the holographic cards that have kind of a 3D effect to them.
Yeah.
But I have 3 of these, and they're all a little different.
Man.
The powder blue Winter Classic ones
are
fantastic. And I also have these 2 where he was drafted first overall, and then where he has all the hardware. Was that like 2009? 2008, something in there? But that's the last one from that series. These, I believe, are not worth a ton. I think all of these are kind of like $5 or under.
Tim Hortons.
The Above the Ice ones might be worth more, and it depends what you have too. Because if you do have an NHL All-Star, like the McKinnon and the Makar ones are going for crazy money. Even the base set McKinnon, I think, is $3, which is kind of funny. But here's the ones that are worth the most. Okay, to me. Let's clear the board here, and I will show you. First off, this value will change because it is of any size, I believe. So you could this could potentially be worth anywhere from $1.50 to $5.
Oh wow.
And it's official Tim Hortons coffee or tea prize card.
Whoa! Is that a rookie?
I could not believe that was just in my... It was so weird. But they hand out vouchers. I only have the one. I don't know why I did not expect to find it in there.
Pretty sick.
But
up there with a future considerations rookie card.
Absolutely.
Dare I say.
This could be worth a lot. You never know.
Yeah.
Don't steal this QR code. And
yeah, you just put it on blast.
There is one series that is worth considerably more than the rest. And again, another shocker when I looked at the price values. My boss is super into grading cards and that sort of stuff. So he was looking up the values, and he had told me that this particular one was worth $175. And I was shocked because they're not even doing that well this year. But we have the Franchise Trios pack.
That's nice, man.
And the Montreal one that I have features Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, and Juraj Slavkovsky.
It's a good card.
They have a little spiel about him in English and in French, of course. On the back. The franchise trio set, there are ones for, I think there's 6 different ones you can get. I know the Oilers have one for sure. Colorado has one. But they're like $250 to $150 for each of them, which is, I have no idea why.
That's wild.
It's 1 in 300 chance
Wow.
of getting one. So I guess that based on how much money I've spent this year, it's probably right about,
there you go.
right about accurate. But that's the big heavy hitter.
It's nice.
I don't usually display a lot of the trios ones. I kind of tend to put them on the side and maybe the fancy, the special binder with odd cards and whatnot.
With that one anyway.
That one's probably going in a case.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that to be worth anything. But that's your Tim Hortons roundup for this year.
There you go.
My Tim Hortons ran out of them this morning. I went to buy 2 packs, one for each of us to open, and
that's okay.
shot down. So buy them while you can. Who knows if they're still available?
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. Go to Starbucks. I don't care.
If Tim Horton wants to reach out from beyond the grave.
Oh my goodness! If we get a Timmy's deal, love that.
That'd be crazy. Intermission.
Here we go, guys. Live on camera. I'm dropping
Fantasy update.
Dropping a Noonan because he crapped the bed for Artur's Shelovs.
It's
right
the
now,
Artie party, baby.
I'm gonna have to drop a Noonan, but he already broke my heart last night.
Colorado, they're not known.
3 goals on 6 shots and get pulled. We were talking about 2 goals on 12.
2 on 12 is like nothing. Like, you keep that in, you know?
Artur Shelovs, Eustace the Noonan. Noonan?
Who are you playing today this week?
Wait, it didn't update. Oh no. Can I make transactions and play with them that day?
You should.
I thought I could. Uh-oh. That would be unfortunate if I couldn't. I'll just restart this later. Fantasy,
hopefully
guys.
that still works.
That could have been bad.
Fantasy hockey, am I right?
Fantasy hockey. Are you Yes, you are.
I'm ready.
Okay, guys, this is my first year ever playing fantasy hockey.
It's such a lie.
The draft?
I literally made you play it like years ago.
Yes, but it's slightly different.
This is your first time in a head-to-head.
This is my first time in a head-to-head, and the first time ever doing a draft. And I can say with complete conviction and an acceptance of sorts now, I totally bungled the draft because I picked with my heart and I did not pick the top players. I think I had Daniel Sprong and Connor Brown like in our
he scored in his first
draft.
game.
Yeah, so I was so stoked, and then the Canucks just completely gotten in a car crash and just ended it. Anyways, fantasy. We each are playing against each other in a head-to-head fantasy league.
We played each other last week.
We played each other last week. I broke the win streak
I was 4-0.
of Gump Truck. The big-time Regretskis pulled through.
I was 4-0, man.
I had help from a couple of players. Micah had help from a couple of players. And today, we're going to talk about those couple of players for a couple of minutes.
Yep.
Because they got us a couple of points.
Hell yeah, man.
Okay, so we won't break down all of our teams, but we'll break down a little bit. I imagine you will do some of your team, I will do some of my team.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready or do you want me to go first?
You can go ahead, brother.
Okay,
Well,
so I've got a lot and I don't have to use all of them. I just was thinking more about this in terms of categories, who's impressed me this year, who has not impressed me.
I realized because all hockey players are so young these days. I really don't have a lot of cards. So.
Seriously, most of these, I have 3 Tim's cards mixed in as well. Right. And I had to borrow a random card from you because I don't have this guy. So I drafted 4th overall, and I picked Draisaitl this year.
That's crazy that he slipped to 4th. Can I say that?
Sure, I think so.
Who was ahead of him?
McKinnon,
I guess McKinnon,
McDavid, Matthews.
Okay,
and Matthews and McDavid have both been injured.
I guess you can't really argue with any of those players, but still, like...
I was, as someone who loves the Oilers still, don't look at my shirt, I wanted to pick someone that I was going to watch.
Yeah.
I could have picked Kucherov, who is leading our fantasy league in points right now. Draisaitl is nowhere near the top. Draisaitl is like 1.8 fantasy points in our ESPN thing. But Draisaitl was my big guy. I didn't pick him to show because I think that's a pretty obvious choice.
Yeah.
Second in points for me this year has been, this guy has had 2 5-point games. Or maybe he's had a 5-point and a 4-point out of nowhere for not a good team. It is Travis Konechny has had an unreal start. And I made the biggest mistake of my life when I accidentally put him on the bench on his 5-point night. And I was crying. My wife can attest. We were driving out to Langley for my hockey game, and I'm just sitting there just cursing everything. I'm like, I cannot believe I did not put Travis Konechny.
It happens to
Why
everybody,
is Travis Konechny scoring points? He has 5 points. The game's not even over yet. So Travis Konechny, huge point getter for me this year. Bit of a surprise, but great. Another one that is fantastic for me, I picked this guy up on waivers in week 3. So he hadn't been really thought of as super highly. This is the card I stole from Micah. Upper Deck Portrait Rookies. Connor McMichael.
He's been thought. I mean,
Can we talk about the Washington Capitals?
What is going on?
Are we thinking they're a fraud? Or are we thinking they're set to keep rolling? Because they've had a really impressive start to the season so far.
Yeah. I don't know if they're like a fraud per se. They might regress a little bit.
I think they were a bit of a fraud last year, but the negative goal differential was crazy.
Yeah.
This year, they're getting scoring from everybody. Ovechkin looks re-energized, which could be because the team is doing well.
Yeah.
When the team does well, Ovechkin does well. I mean, totally correlates.
I wish I could be like a fly on the wall, like in their like training camp. You know what I mean?
Who
Like
I don't
or like
even know.
I'm assuming because Ovechkin's the captain. I'm sure he met with the coaches and stuff. I would love to be a fly on the wall there and hear what he had to say, because obviously we know that he cares about breaking the record and stuff.
Yep.
They're also just doing really well. So
I don't think anybody had on their bingo card Ovechkin breaks the goal record this year.
Yeah.
And there's potential, if he keeps up this pace, he could break, imagine, okay, I heard this, I think Chicklets said it, game 82 this year against the Pittsburgh Penguins. If he breaks Wayne Gretzky's goal scoring record against Crosby and Malkin,
that'd be cool, man.
Unreal. Backstrom, hopefully in attendance. Gretzky would have to be in attendance.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The same way that Gordie Howe followed Gretzky around for when Gretzky was breaking Howe's. He's got to be there.
That'd be cool, man.
Connor McMichael, an underrated part of that success.
Yeah.
He has like 10 goals this year.
Yeah.
It's only been 17 games. Not a ton of assists. This man does not dish. He only shooteth. And he's been a critical part. I think he's playing second line minutes, but he's on the first line power play. Similar to another guy I don't have, Gabe Vilardi for the Winnipeg Jets. Got him on waivers. Yeah. He's first power play.
Yeah.
And he just pots it in. He's got great chemistry with those guys. Connor McMichael, if you do not have him, he's available on waivers. You have
pick him up.
A huge
top 2 Connor mix in the league.
Top 2, man. Connor Brown. Connor Bedard's up there too. He's not dash 46 this year. Good for him.
Yeah.
I'll keep going on guys that I've been impressed with. And I'll go to Moritz Seider. That was my big defenseman pickup this year. It was my second defenseman. I have a different one that I'm going to talk about being disappointed in slightly. We all knew kind of what to expect from Moritz Seider. Yeah. Looking at the statistics, things that count in fantasy, but also things that you want to see just as a hockey fan. He's always on the score sheet in one way or another. It could be hits, and we've seen the hits that he can throw. Big open ice or big hip checks.
Yep.
Fantastic. I love that in an old school defenseman. Keith Ballard-esque. Once again, apparently I'm a Canucks fan.
What a pull.
He blocks shots.
Yep.
He is on the power play.
Solid.
He scores points. And yeah, so, I love a good German player. Shout out to my boy, Maurice Freiberg. Let's go. Moritz Seider. That's been my top defenseman this year.
There you go.
Okay. I will go with one more, or I'll go 2 more, because I've got them in my hand.
You've got them.
I'll go with another guy that has surprised me. I didn't even really mean to grab him. I think it was another waivers claim. I've also been the most active in our fantasy this year. I think I have 24 transactions, and it's week 5. If an actual general manager was doing what I do, like, Nicky Schmaltz. I didn't really understand how fantasy worked, and I didn't appreciate the fact that Philip Deneau was going to get points, so I dropped Philip Deneau and got Nick Schmaltz. Kind of a mistake looking back at it, but he had a great start to the year.
Nick Schmaltz is a good. He's always been kind of a good fantasy guy because he scores in bunches. He had an 8-point night the other.
Yeah, he's inconsistent, but he will get points by the time the year ends. You know he's good for like minimum 60, probably around the point per game, like 70 points, kind of what I picture him as. Yeah. Not a ton of intangibles, like he's not hitting guys, he's occasionally blocking a shot, but he'll score points. And he's paired with the big boys this year, right? You got Dylan Gunther and Keller on that first line with Schmaltzy. They're doing great. Okay, so I've got one surprise guy and 2 disappointments. Okay. And my surprise guy was originally going to be Kiefer Sherwood because he's averaging...
The GOAT.
He's averaging 1 point. Keef. Like, I cannot believe how well he is doing this year on the fantasy. Well. Yeah. He got 1.4 points per game in our ESPN profile, which puts him right between Connor Bedard and Tyler Toffoli. This is Kiefer Sherwood we're talking about. He's
he's settling in real well.
Sportsnet 650. I think it was either Satyar Shah or Dan Riccio. Had him for 40 goals this year. Wow, the number keeps growing. It's kind of a joke that they're like, oh, it's 60 goals for Kiefer Sherwood. If he gets 20 goals this year, same success as Dakota Joshua. Yeah. And he's on pace to just destroy the hits record, too. Yeah. So Kiefer Sherwood would have been my guy. Instead, I would go with another Canuck, Connor Garland. I got midway through the draft pick, or midway through the pack of drafts. And,
that's a good pick.
He's been promoted to the top 2 lines. He's a top 6 guy this year, and he looks like he deserves it. Yeah. It's hard not to like Connor Garland. When he tucks his jersey in, he's a little on the short side. Yeah. This kind of is a violation, but me and my wife were discussing like kind of comparisons to Peter Dinklage if he looks the right way.
Oh dear.
But I love Connor Garland, and I was not saying he's just a smaller guy. There's nothing wrong with that. As I try to backpedal here, I'm so happy for him. I hope he continues to get points. He succeeds in a Rick Tocchet system, and I love that. My 2 disappointments this year, and I thought they would both do well. My original disappointment was Michael Bunting. That ship sailed so fast. He was gone from my team within like day 3.
I remember not going to happen. Me about that, and I was like, "Yeah, don't have him. I had him last year." These
guys, I both have high hopes for, and I think they'll be able to recover. But I don't know if it's this season per se. They've still been putting up decent numbers, but they have had their struggles. And the first guy I have is Seth Jarvis. Incredible quote. He says the most incredible things. If you see some of the interviews, he just like, are you disappointed about not going to the All-Star game? He's like, nope, I'm going on vacation. Like just instant. He's a funny guy. He's had a bit of a down season. He was expected to kind of break out. He had a bit of a breakout year last year. Yeah. And between injuries, bad luck, he's in a bit of a rut. He's found the back of the net a couple times, but just not quite what people were expecting this year. And my other guy who I do like a lot is Noah Dobson.
He just scored his first.
He just scored his first, and it was an empty net. So I guess rewarded with
to get you going.
Exactly. So maybe he'll pick it up. He's had another tough start to this year. I've watched a couple Islanders games. I've seen him making a couple mistakes here and there. It just looks like he's a little out of the zone. Maybe not, confidence-wise, the same way Pettersson's been having a bit of an issue. He just looks like things aren't quite clicking, and I trust Noah Dobson to get it back on. He's a good defenseman. He was the guy that I picked over Moritz Seider in the draft.
And he ended up with both, so that's good.
I ended up with both. I have no idea how that happened. I prioritized defenseman, and then the first goalie available was Jacob Markstrom. So
you got to do that.
What do you have? You have Shesterkin? Who do you have as your goalie? You have Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
I have Vasi, Ingram, Lankinen. I think those are my 3.
Yeah. So I definitely went defenseman over forwards, but I got lucky with Konechny and picking up McMichael. Yeah. Vinny Trocheck's been good this year. Draisaitl, obviously, Garland, Sherwood. Yeah. But it's been a fun team, and I've actually really been enjoying fantasy. I've spent way too much time
that's good.
looking at it than I should. That, in essence, is my team, the highs, the lows. I am perfectly averaging the same amount of points every week. And it's not me that changes. It's just depending on the other team. If they have a great team, then they win. If they don't, then I win. I've had the way it goes sometimes. I think I've had between 60 and 65 points 5 weeks in a row. Just nothing changes.
Consistency though is good, you know. You want some consistency.
I've
only got a couple. I've only got a couple cards because, like I said, I realized I just don't have that many. Like I haven't been going to Tim's as much as you have, so I don't have some of the younger guys.
Yeah, nobody should.
And a lot of my high point scorers, I just don't have cards in them. But one guy I do have is Jared McCann. This is a good young gun from way back in the day. They've still got the Vancouver word mark there. Giordano on the Flames in the background.
He's had an incredible last couple seasons.
He's been really underrated as well. Some of that maybe is the West Coast bias. I'm not sure.
He gives me like it's similar Kyle Connor energy. Maybe a little bit of a bona fide sniper.
Yeah.
More of a goal scorer than a complete player.
Yeah.
Still really good. I'm not trying to criticize.
Yeah, really solid. I've had him in fantasy the past couple years in a couple different leagues, and he's always been really dependable, and he's always been like a waiver wire pickup. Like Players
on Seattle don't get, like you said, West Coast bias. They don't get a whole lot of media traction. They just kind of fly under the radar.
Yeah, but anyway, this is a young gun back when I thought he was going to be like the Canucks sniper of the future, you know. We were so ready for him to be that.
I mean, he turned out to be that, just not with...
He turned out to be that, but just not with Vancouver.
Tough go. He looked really promising.
Yeah, and for good reason, because he has fulfilled a lot of it. But he's been really solid for me this year, as always. Seattle always tends to put up
average
goals. Yeah.
They are the New York Islanders of the West. They are completely mid.
Yeah.
Great jerseys, though.
True.
Great jerseys.
Very true. But he's been solid, and my first pick, because I picked late in the draft, my first pick was Chucky. Matthew Tkachuk.
You know he's going to be getting points.
Points,
he's going to
hits,
be hitting
everything.
people.
He's going to be hitting everything.
That's a wonderful pickup. And what do you know what number you got him at in the draft?
I was maybe second last or something.
Okay,
overall.
so like 13th or something.
Yeah,
okay.
Maybe it was like 8 or 9, somewhere in there.
The funny thing about our draft is Brady Tkachuk
he went earlier, right?
He went like 6.
I thought that was really weird because he plays for Ottawa. Let's be honest here,
but I mean. Turns out both Tkachuk brothers are doing.
They're both very good in fantasy because they fill out so many categories.
Totally.
But I went with Matthew.
They're high octane Kiefer Sherwoods.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Everyone's compared to Kiefer Sherwood now.
Yeah. That's my scale.
This is a solid card. You may be wondering, or maybe you're not, but I'm insane, so I wondered who's he hitting there. Blues number 10.
Number 10.
Who do you think that is?
No, I was going to say Paul. I have no idea who that is. It's not Shen.
No, that is...
Shen is number 10 currently.
That is Scotty Upshaw. During his last 2 years in
I didn't even know he played
for St. Louis.
I
didn't know that either.
I just assumed he played for the Blues on maybe a PTO.
No,
I didn't know he was actually a member of the St. Louis Blues.
He had 2 full seasons, and I was curious, so I looked up because again, I'm a little wonky. I looked up the game logs for 16-17.
And they played the Blues once.
They played the Blues a few times because they're in the same conference.
Did you try to find this exact game?
I tried to find the exact game. Can't confirm precisely, but
it is in St. Louis.
It is in St. Louis, so I was able to narrow that down. They played in St. Louis twice and in Calgary once because they're not in the same division but the same conference.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to quite narrow it down between the 2 games that they played each other in St. Louis, but I can tell you that in one of those games, Upshaw took a slashing penalty on Tkachuk, and Tkachuk took an embellishment penalty at the exact same time. So I thought that was funny because who knows? Maybe it was after the hit.
5 seconds before.
Yeah, maybe it was after the hit. Upshaw gives him a whack. Tkachuk dives out of the way. Who knows? But yeah, that's kind of all I know. I was able to narrow it down to one of those 2 games. I thought that was funny that it was captured that they did run into each other at one point. So who knows? Maybe Upshaw
This is what started it all.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So I thought that was really funny, and so I thought that was a unique little. I like doing that, kind of trying to pinpoint things.
Totally.
It's a little bit
history behind the card.
Yeah. It's a little bit harder when like they're in the same division or something, but
Yeah.
something
Totally.
like that. You can narrow it down to 2 dates, and it's kind of funny that they
Yeah.
took coincidental minors and they played 4-on-4 for a bit.
Yeah. One way or another, this relates to that.
Yeah.
So that's
So
it.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And I have both of those guys on fantasy. They're both pretty solid, and those are my fantasy picks.
He's gone pretty heavy Montreal.
Yeah,
Loaded
I've
up-
stacked Suzuki and Slav, which is pretty solid. They've both been pretty good for me so far.
The a quick commentary on Micah losing to me once again. The day after,
I'm 4-1, okay.
the day after, so the Monday, Montreal came out and had like a seven
Oh
goal
my gosh.
outburst, and Micah could have just wiped the floor with me with the amount of points that Suzuki and Slav had, and he did not because
It was too late.
I timed it.
Too little, too late. Yeah,
Completely
you knew.
on
You
purpose.
knew.
Yeah, well, no, fantasy's fun. We're doing great.
Yeah, it's a good time.
I think it's about time we get to the final segment, unless you had anything else.
No, fine.
Random card of the day. You are very
Good. I'm gonna
off the
have to
top of your
dig.
head
Yeah,
with this.
I'm gonna have to dig here.
Okay. Would you like me to present while we're doing this? I want to show you this card, so maybe we'll just we'll take a brief 30-second intermission here, and we will find the card, and we'll be right back.
Well, I'll show this, first of all. It's still in the package. Still in the package. There's a crease right along the side here where I stepped on it. Because I was like, I'm gonna keep this in the package. I'm gonna keep it mint condition.
Let me just step on it real
Did
quick.
not work. Yeah, he got a hat trick in his debut. I don't know if you remember that.
With the Rangers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I have heard that before, but that's crazy. Good for
Anyway,
him.
there's that.
Short career.
Yeah, he's retired now.
Yeah, I think Chicklets does a check-in with him like once a month. They're
there you go.
once every 2 months they check in with Derek Stabile.
Yeah, I was ready for him to be a sniper, so I was ready for this card to be worth like $1 million. I stepped on it, I was bummed, but now it's not that worth that much.
Are
but
there
hey,
graded massive cards? I imagine there are.
I think you can probably find that, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, break that out.
Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first, or would you like to like rock, paper, scissors this, or what do you want to do? What's the vision?
I can go.
Okay.
I'll put it on. This
It's
is
another giant card.
That's my random card of the day for today.
That's why you were fishing for the giant cards.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a lot to digest.
Yeah.
Instantly,
Instantly, he's getting shellacked here, okay? Because this is Stanley Cup final.
there's a
and it's an
Stanley
away
Cup
game.
final.
And it's an away game. So he's getting absolutely shellacked here. The puck is about to go across the line, maybe,
No.
to be honest. He might scoop it, but there's some red there. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it.
I think that's the other post in the back. I think we're
Oh,
looking
you're
at
right.
it
This is,
like-
you're right.
Okay, here.
You're right.
Look at this, guys.
Oh, yeah.
This card
illustration.
takes place. This is him.
Yeah, you're right.
3D. His glove is like over there.
You're so right.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it first. I just
I'm-
assumed because it's in Boston and it's a cup final.
I'm glad that
it
we
was
have
going past
these.
him.
We should break down more
Visual aid,
plays.
yeah.
Maybe we'll do a segment where we break down the play happening
Yeah, that would
on
be
the card.
Anyway, I just assumed it was going past him because it's in Boston in the 2011 final. Sad to say, I don't have great memories of that time, but apparently they made like jumbo base cards, you know what I mean? I always thought it was just Young Guns. but-
Yeah. I never seen one, but I didn't have that many.
Yeah.
So
Especially from this year. I got this, I think, back when I was active on the Instagram community.
that's what his face looked like
Yeah,
right
he
before he
was
had to go to
pretty-
the bathroom.
Right, before he had to
Playoffs.
shit his pants. I don't know if you can see that. He's making quite the expression here.
Was he the highest drafted goalie at the time?
At the time, yeah.
and
I
then
think so.
the Islanders did the same thing 3 years later with DiPietro, or 2 years later. And then Fleury went first too. So
Yep. Anyway, random card. Yeah, you could probably pinpoint some of the moments that are going on here. Don't know whether it's game 3 or 4 or 6, but anyway.
that's a tough.
Probably wasn't going too well at this point.
No.
Which is sad to say.
His pads look fairly fresh. The puck's gone behind him more than it's hit his pads.
There's no defenseman anywhere near him either. So
No, it's just wide open.
That doesn't bode well.
It's a really cool shot.
It is a good shot.
You know what? You know exactly where this came from. This is the corner cameraman who has the camera right through the slot that they have patched up because a puck came and like hit a guy in the nose.
Yeah.
So they have those little slider doors.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Anyway, so that's what's going on there. But
random card of the day.
That's my random card.
I like it.
Just since we were talking about jumbos, figured I'd pick a jumbo Lou.
Nice. This card, I will give a shout out to my beautiful wife who does watch these, I think. But this was a gift from her. Oh. It was in a CHL hockey card pack from this current year.
Okay.
I have prepared the hockey DB for this player to read off a spiel.
Good.
This is surprise 3rd overall draft pick, Bennett Seneca signed.
Whoa, sweet.
Yeah. Those Oshawa uniforms are wicked, by the way. The helmets are two-tone. I don't know if you saw that. It's red on the front and blue on the back.
What do you know?
So the clip went Hawkery viral.
Yeah, hockey viral.
Of Becca getting drafted, and he was supposed to go like mid-10s. Originally it was the 20s, but he had a strong playoff until he got injured. And it was one of those circumstances. I'm kind of quoting David Amber here, who I trust wholeheartedly. The finals, the Oshawa Generals got spanked, but he was injured, and it was one of those situations where you start to notice how big a difference it can make to have this guy on the line. So drafted 3rd overall by Anaheim. Scott Niedermayer was the one that made the draft, calling back to earlier in the podcast when I said he was related. He was the guy that came up and announced the pick.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, Beckett's looking shocked. His family's super happy.
Yeah.
He is on pace this year for 100 points in the O.
Oh.
So
not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
Ducks have some up-and-comers, I guess.
The hockey...
Born in 2006, dude. Don't do that to me.
Oh, I feel so old.
That's crazy, 2006.
So Elite Prospects, their 24 draft guide classifies Seneca as an ankle-breaking winger who combines deft playmaking, manipulation, powerful net drives, and puck thievery skills to control the game. He's an overwhelmingly confident puck handler, grounded in solid technique with an unlocked top arm and fast twitch hands.
Wow.
As a playmaker, he manipulates opponents, works the give and go, identifies the right play, and connects with perfectly weighted passes, no matter the obstacle. So I have big hopes for Beckett.
That's
Seneca.
Sweet that it's a signed card.
I was not expecting it at all.
In one pack, eh?
It had one insert and then this.
Wow. That's
so it's cool.
Very nice.
Shout out to Marissa.
Shout out.
Love you. Thanks for getting me this. It was a nice touch. I don't think anybody had planned for there to be a signed card in the middle, but that's my
that's what happens sometimes.
That's my special card of the day. He's 6'3", 178. I hope he bulks up a little bit.
Yeah, no kidding. He's definitely got the frame to fill in for sure.
Yeah, again, according to David Amber, his family is very athletic and he should get to 200, 210, 215 maybe on the heavy side. So
there you go.
My thoughts and prayers with Beckett Seneca as he continues to bulk up.
I know you mentioned the first Tim series.
The first Tims. Do you have a first Tim series?
I got a few because that was again when I was active on the Instagram community.
Right.
Trading.
If you don't already follow Canucks Keeper and Kipper, please do. Drop a follow below. I think I had Santa Cruz cards at the time.
Yep.
Mostly just to compete with Canucks Keeper and Keepers and Kipper.
Well, I urged you.
Yes. What was not shown on the Instagram was the two of us pissing on a Brad Marchand card and lighting it on fire in the backyard that is 6 feet in front of us here.
Yeah.
That could have been an interesting vlog. Alas and sadly, it is lost to time. Although I believe we do have the clip of us literally lighting it on fire somewhere. I feel like we went through the computer like maybe 6-7 years ago, and there was a clip of us.
Could be. It's that. Oh. It was out of fuel, so I don't know if it's gonna. I guess it's working again.
And like the Chicago Blackhawks hopes extinguished yet again.
Here is a 15-16 Tim's card. This is another random card.
Oh, dude.
You have some of these?
I know on the front page of my binder.
There you go. You do have some from
Taylor Hall.
The first Tim's.
I didn't know that they looked like that. I didn't even know this was a Tim's card.
Yeah, I know, right? Because it's only on there in the back.
I like how similar, like it's fairly consistent. Let me grab.
Well, the restaurants always pull out the shine. They always pull out the chrome.
They do. Here, I've got a kale from this year, and they always do have the shine. But I like the fact that the backs are like fairly. It still's got the strip in the same place. All the badging is similar. Consistency is key.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any other that you're searching for?
Here it is. Oh. Here's the Luongo.
Here, I'll take these out of the way. That's a sick one.
That era of Luongo, after he got traded back to the Panthers, I have an affinity for that era. He has a really nice mask. I really liked his setup.
The pads were very yellow, if I recall. Like lots of white and yellow across the board. But it's kind of weird to see him in that jersey too, because they moved to the new jersey, which is infinitely worse in my opinion. I love the cat.
Yeah. But anyway, this was I think Anyway, the first Tim series.
To the current Tim series.
Soon after the trade, and it was a good time in history.
Yeah. Support your local Timmies, guys. Don't get mad at them for being slow on the order. You want to go to Tim Hortons? You want to work there?
Can I say something controversial? I like Tim Hortons food.
You like Tim Hortons food?
I do.
Better than other breakfast places?
Yeah.
Or just are you talking about as a whole, like breakfast, lunch, dinner?
Just like as a whole, like
okay,
it's good. Get me a crispy chicken craveable. Go try the crispy chicken craveable at Tim Hortons, okay?
The craveable series.
It's so good. Have you had the crispy chicken craveable?
I have not, because
try it.
Unlike you, I am not the biggest fan of Tim Hortons breakfast.
Well, no, it's not even breakfast.
If
have
you
it for
go
lunch.
down,
it's really good. I'm wanting one right now.
Okay, you tried to get to a job site on time and go sit at the Whatcom Tim Hortons in line with like 10 people there.
I never go to Tim Hortons during rush, so.
No, I'm stuck every morning at the Tim Hortons around 7 o'clock, and the poor workers at that Whatcom Tim Hortons are just slammed, okay?
Yeah.
Don't get mad at your Tim Hortons, your local Tim Hortons workers.
They're providing a service.
They are providing a service, and they are drastically underpaid with the crap that they have to deal with on a regular basis from people. It's stupid. So respect your local food workers, because they deserve more than the lack of thanks that you give.
And go try the crispy chicken craveable, because it's good. I've always liked Tim Hortons food. I will defend Tim Hortons food, not like vehemently, like it's still fast food, but like it's not as bad as everyone in Canada says it is. Everyone in Canada is like, oh, Tim Hortons food is the worst.
Try going to the States. What are you gonna get from Dunkin' Donuts? That's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
My cup of tea is a cup of coffee from Tim Hortons.
There you go.
Buy their hockey cards while you have a chance.
Yeah.
Because as noted today, I no longer have that chance. I'm topped out at 300 Tim's cards for
There you go. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you give the Garden of Earthly Delights a look-see. Pretty sure there's like an interactive
If you can freeze frame, find a scene that you like and comment it down below. We will ship you one Tim Hortons card of our choosing of our choosing. Be prepared for like one of the 6 Drew Duddies that I have.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Go Canucks. I'm on board now. Tyler Myers.
Welcome on board, sir. He's going to be wearing an Oilers jersey next. So.
Go Oilers. Yeah. I've got a new jersey to pull out. Brand new for the birthday.
Teaser. Make sure you watch the next. Make sure you watch the